Hello, my name is Craig Tarwater. I'd like to welcome you to this video school of guitar production entitled How to Play Great R&B Guitar. Today we're at level 1. So this is entry level. If you don't play much guitar, we should be able to help you play real good R&B guitar by the time you've studied this tape. Maybe one time through for some of you, a few times for the average people, and maybe a few more times for people who have to work a little harder. I'd like to recommend these 3 books to you also. This is a series of books written by Mr. Bill Edwards, and they're entitled Fretboard Logic. And what they are is comprehensive manuals to help you visualize the fingerboard once and for all. Okay, because that's very important. You need to see everything as a whole, not just parts. So as some people who have instructional methods say, you can fly around the fretboard effortlessly with ease. Easier said than done. Anyhow, this is Fretboard Logic 1. It's just called Fretboard Logic. It's the original volume. And it deals mostly with visualizing the major and minor chord shapes and the pentatonic scales. Okay? In addition, we have Fretboard Logic 2. This deals with more of chords and also deals with arpeggios and the diatonic scales, which is your major and minor scales. And you should go in order on these books. Okay, last and the most important and valuable of all is Fretboard Logic 3, the one that was at 5 years in the making. And this one is the creative and analytical applications and overview. This teaches you how to use the first 2 and make it sound more musical, whilst all along visualizing the fingerboard. Okay, very good. Now, let's have a tuning note, and this will be A 440, your 5th string. Here's a 12th fret harmonic for those of you who use tuning forks. All right, very good. Now I'd like for you to look at a chart that you'll find enclosed with your video. And this chart is an overview of the Fretboard Logic series. And it helps you visualize the fingerboard in 5 different shapes in each of the 5 keys. Okay? So, what we'd like to do now is have you take a close look at my left hand, and as well even my right hand you'll see creeping into the picture here. Okay, first of all, since this song that we're showing you is in the key of G, let's take a little look at a couple of things that are very important with R&B guitar, because it is so highly specialized and requires a lot more rhythm chops, as they say, than some other forms of guitar such as blues or rock. But it's very important to remember R&B stands for rhythm and blues. And generally when people talk to me about R&B, if I play something that is, to me, sort of funky, then they call it R&B. So that's why I call it R&B. Perhaps I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. Okay, so first of all, one thing you should be seeing is your major chord triads. So let's learn these in the key of G. They would apply to any key merely by moving up the appropriate number of frets or down the appropriate number of frets. Okay, so here is a G chord triad. It's using just the first 3 strings. Here's another G chord triad, which uses the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd strings. Here's another G chord triad that uses the 5th, 4th, and 3rd strings. here's even another one, but you have to be careful using it any lower than this key. This uses the 6th, 5th, and 4th. And the best way to play it is with the 3rd finger, and the 1st finger barring the 5th and 4th strings. Okay, so anyhow, there's a lot of different types of triads you can use with this particular little song that we're going to be learning today. So some of the other triads you may use are an A minor triad. There's another A minor triad. You may use a B minor triad. There's another one. So the A minor to B minor to G. Now how you use these will depend a lot on how well you perceive doing something you've learned and putting it into practice, which you're going to get a chance on this tape to do that. So, for instance, okay, that's where you're taking your basic B or G triad and you're using your 3rd finger to play the 6th note, or the E note. The E note is what we need to know, or we need to know that it's like that. So if you see what I'm doing with the right hand, one thing you can't see is underneath all that, my pinky there is resting on the guitar, which helps stabilize my hand. And my forearm is resting on the guitar body, and that helps stabilize my whole arm from the elbow down to where I'm holding the pick. Okay, so anyhow, you can do little movements like this where you move 2 frets. It sounds a little bit sort of like Oriental music at first, but if you use it in context, you'll find that it was used by Jimi Hendrix, it was used by Curtis Mayfield, and a host of other people who play great R&B guitar. Okay, now, when you get up to this area right here, you have a G triad right here, and this is what's called a C form because it's part of a C form G major chord, which if I move all the way down to C with the last 3 fingers, then you know why I call it a C form. But it isn't me that calls it that, it's the guitar community. Okay, so that's a C form or C shape. Okay, so let's just go back over the chords and you can pick out the triads yourself. We have the G major chord right there. That's an E form. See, there's an E chord played with the last 3 fingers. So you move it up and use the 1st finger to play the notes on the 3rd fret, which are the 6th string, and then this part of your hand right there goes across the 2nd and 1st string. But anyhow, you only use small pieces of the chord while you're actually playing. You use, you may also take these 2 fingers right here and hammer them off, on and off, hammer on, pull off, just a very gentle movement, and you get the C chord triad, okay? There I'm just using the pinky the 2nd time around, so That's how all those kind of things are done. Okay, so you can do a lot of things from the E form G. Okay, so at that point, around this chord site, you have a pentatonic scale, which some of you out there may know, some of you may not. Let me play it for you from the high note of the position, which is a B flat. That's the 6th fret. Okay, then we go down to G, then to F. This is the 2nd string. D, C, B flat again, G, F, so we're repeating ourselves. D, C, B flat, and G. Okay, so that scale can be used once you learn how to play it sequentially, and I'll go ahead and teach that to you at this time. You can do just the very simplest things by going 3 notes. So you go down, up, down, down, up, down. You have to learn how to cross strings. There are different kinds of feels too. Okay, but at any rate, if you play the scale, these are just suggestions too at this point, because you can get pretty crazy with rhythm where you can just do one note. There I'm alternately picking down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. You will have some string bends in there that you can do too, once you learn how to do that if you don't know already. The B flat can be bent to the sound of a C, which means a whole step bend. The F note can be bent to the sound of a G, a whole step, so it's a whole step bend. Okay, and you have all kinds of sequences where you can play. By sequences, we mean small pieces of the scale consisting rhythmically of a certain amount of notes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which gives you a different feel. Fives are especially good. One way to practice that scale to get the sequences is to practice it from the high notes descending, as in Okay, so let's try a couple of things with this song now. And first we'll just try some triads. I'll play a little bit of triad work for a couple of measures, then I'll lay out and you play, and I'll command you to do so. And then I'll go, while I'm not playing triads, I'll play some little fills. And then you alternate with me. But the first time around we'll just do the triads. Then the second time around we'll do the fills. We're just doing these in third position with this scale that I've shown you. Okay, so let's try this.
2, 1, 2, 3.
You try it now. Just the first two strings. Now you can still do it. Whoops. Okay, we'll pause right there and I'll show you a mistake that I made. It's a common mistake people make when they don't know anything. But actually I know it, I just forgot. Okay, so when the song moved from G to B flat, just as a chord, transitional chord to go to, then the best thing to do at that time would have been okay, and then at that point you could go back to I should say after that point you could go back to, because from B flat it goes to C. Okay, so let's go back a ways and we'll just do this again. All right, here we go.
2, 1, 2,
2, 3. Okay, now, that didn't work very well either. These are on purpose that we're making these kind of examples, so you won't play something without listening to what it sounds like. Okay, so at this point what we need to do is move down and play that figure right here in the first position for the B flat. Now we'll try this again, and you're still going to get to play along, okay?
2,
1, 2, 3, 4. Turn. That's an F triad right there. I'm playing it with the last 3 fingers. strings. One of the most important things is your rhythm. Okay, very good. Now, we're going to show you a few things a little bit higher up. And they're real high up, so what we'll do is we'll concentrate on the first 4 strings, and whichever fingers you would like to use, I suggest this fingering. It seems to work out the best. Okay, so we're barring across the 10th fret. The first 3 strings, we're using the 2nd finger. Then we have the first finger on the 9th fret on the 4th string. And we can do a couple of different things. We can slide, if we're accurate, up and down between the 10th and the 12th fret. We can do little skips like that where we go, but they have to be staccato, so you have to mute with the left hand. That means after each sound, immediately lift the finger off, but not clear, just release the pressure. Some guys do this, they go all the way up, but that doesn't work good. That would be much better for now, you can't quite do it down here. And then you have also a problem because that's C and you need to go to B flat first. So one of the things you can do is to learn to play the R&B 9th chord, which is also used in blues. And that is done simply like this. This chord works all up and down the neck. The name note of the chord, however, is not in the chord. I would like to say it's right here on the upper fret part of the chord. When I say upper fret, there's 2 fingers on this fret and there's 2 fingers on that fret. Okay, so let's just do an example since we need to play a B flat 9th chord, the blues 9th chord. we'll go ahead and do it right here. Okay, so we have first and second fingers, 5th fret, 5th and 3rd strings. Then we have 3rd and 4th fingers, 6th fret, 4th and 2nd strings. That's our chord. Now, the tip of our first finger can be touching the 6th string so it doesn't sound. That way if your pick over swipes, picks too far, if you don't pick economically like this, if you pick like that, you'll still be okay. You might be on stage giving a great show and need to really be raucous, as they say. Anyhow, and your pinky finger is touching the first string, so it doesn't sound. However, if you're good at retaining these 3 fingers in that shape, and then laying the pinky down, you can allow the B flat to sound. So your B flat note is, normally I don't play it. And I don't play it up here. If you use your thumb, you can do it, but that's very uncomfortable. Okay, so anyhow, basically what we're talking about is there's our B flat 9th chord, and here's our C 9th chord. And then we can go on up to the D 9th chord. So we get we're now at the 9th fret. And then we went to the, I'm sorry, that was the 7th fret, and now we're at the 9th fret. So when I speak of what fret we're at, I'm talking about what fret the first finger pushes down on. Okay, and that's how that little figure works. And remember, you can use the triad without the first finger. The triad being the other 3 notes. 4th string, 3rd string, and 2nd string. Okay, so we're going to try a new thing here then. We're going to try and get a little better at this. So let's just keep our first chord, the G chord figure for now. Or else let's use this. This is how we're going to do it now. Okay, that's how it's going to sound. Let's give it a try and see how this works.
2, 1, 2, 3. Your turn on B flat. Your turn on G. You should be playing rhythm.
good at this rhythm right now. See, there's a pulse. You have to get into the pulse. Very good. Now, let's go over a couple of other things here, because there's so much ground to cover just on one song. Okay, we're going to move up to a little bit more complicated set of triads and fingerings, but nonetheless, they're easy enough to do if you practice them. Even if it takes you 2 months, it's worth every bit of time invested, because you can sound like I'm sounding on here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use the G major triad on the first 3 strings, played with the last 3 fingers. And then we're going to pick that a few times, like down, up, down. Then we're going to slide it down a whole step, and it's going to be an F major triad. The fingers don't change. Watch, the fingers will not even do anything except move, like a machine. Then we're going to switch to the E minor triad. So the notes are G, E, B, and we're not using the 3rd finger. The reason for that being, these 2 fingers here are already in place in order to help us move back up to the F and the G triad. So the whole little lick is going to go like this, and we're going to do it for all 3 chord changes in this song. Okay, so that's how it goes. That's how it actually goes. The rhythm is difficult to play very slow, but okay, so I'll speed that up a little bit. I'll speed it up a little bit more. Now, at full speed. Then, to play it for the B flat chord, we have to be up on a B flat, D form, triad. Same stuff. We're doing exactly the same thing in 3 different spots on the fingerboard. So now we're going, we're at the 10th fret. This would actually be called 8th position, because if we played the chord that way and we have a scale right there, but we don't care about that right now. We just want the 10th fret. So that's D, B flat, D, B flat, and F. Okay, then we're going to slide that down after we do our 3 strokes to an A flat triad. Then we're going to go to a G minor triad here, played without the use of the 3rd finger. It's not doing anything, it's just hovering there, ready to go back on the 1st string. So the action is just like this. Get the right sound there. Okay, so then in B flat we're doing this. And then we're going to C, so everything moves up 2 more frets. Now we're at the 12th fret. Now we can't do that quite that long, so we need to shorten the figure. So here's what we're going to do. This is how you learn how to play this style of music. We're going to go so we switched from the B flat triad to a B minor triad, which consists of the notes played again without the use of the 3rd finger. D on the 10th fret, B on the 12th fret, and G flat. You could also look at that as F sharp if you'd like, on the 11th fret. Okay, so let's go through the whole little thing now, and we'll do it with the tape. Watch how this works. In fact, what I'm showing here is so valuable, you won't believe it. Shorten it, just use the E minor and the F. They're using the G minor and the A flat, the B minor. See that rhythmic motion of constantly you can slide in from 2 frets below.
turn. Even do it really punctuated like that. Okay, great. Now, there's a couple other things you need to know along with this that would help you a lot. First of all, in the key of G, for G7, we would like to show you this triad for G7. It's part of this G7 chord. Okay, what it is the note B. It again should be played with the last three fingers. It's the note B, the note F, and the note D. Okay? Now that's going to be used for G, so obviously if this is G right here and that's B flat, then that's the triad you would use for B flat, which consists of the notes D played with the pinky, A flat played with the second finger, and F played with the third finger. Tight squeeze, but you can get them in there. Okay, then if that's B flat and this is C, then the last triad is the note E, the note A flat, and the note G. Okay, and that triad, when C goes to D at the end of the song, when it goes, at that point you need to do something that is related properly to D7, a D7 chord. So you could go there, you've used the same triad for the entire song. Let's look at it. Now this is the absolute simplest possible way to instantly play this rhythm. Keep in mind decide which downstrokes and which upstrokes you wish to accentuate. You can do whatever you want. There are no limits. Okay, watch this now. 2, 3, 4. And move your pinky up on the first string. Just one fret. Then you have something to take away the monotony. See how simple that is? You can approach it from 2 frets below, sliding up at a fret at a time. Then you can mix up the ideas we've been showing you. single string syncopation. Okay, the last chord that the guy was playing there on the rhythm track was actually a G minor 7 chord. The way it was played was the G note with the second finger, 5th string, the B flat note, 1st finger, so already you have quite a stretch there, on the 8th fret with the 4th string, then the F note at the 10th fret on the 3rd string with the 3rd finger, and last but not least, the pinky on the 11th fret 2nd string. So you have the notes G, B flat, F, and A flat. That's also very close, very, very close if you move the 1st finger up 1 fret. Then what you have is a G7 sharp 9. This is the quote-unquote famed Jimi Hendrix chord, the one used down here in the E position. Something like that, whatever it is. Okay, I hope you've had fun with that. And I'd like to have you pay attention now, and we're going to show you the 5 positions that you can utilize the G minor pentatonic scale in to play along with this song. There will be some triads apparent too. I'll try to catch all of those that I can. Okay, so pay attention to my left hand here now. All right. All right, first of all, this is the G minor pentatonic scale in the open or first position. There are some open notes, okay? Okay, then there's this scale that we have already shown you. Okay, now at that spot then, we have the E minor triad. You could also call that a G6 triad if you want. That should give you a tip that if you ever see the word G6, you can play this triad, these 3 chords, and know that you're correct. Okay? Then you also have your F triad, which we had been using. You also have your F7 triad, which we've also been using. And now let's go up to this position of the scale. By the way, that position right here, that's called an A form. Oops. So there's a lot of licks right there too that you should know about. So see, even just on 2 strings, check this out for a second. Even on 2 strings, you can do a heck of a lot. Okay, if you get real good with the pull-offs and hammer-ons, and also just cross-picking or alternate picking. Okay, so now we're up here at the, this is called a G form. I have to recap what we did just to make sure that nobody forgets. This is called an A form. They always go in the alphabet. Okay, so we had A form, G form, and now that's the end of the alphabet, so we start off all over again. G, E, okay, so this is the E form. We go to the D form. So we also had a lot of triads in those last 2 forms. When we go to the B flat 7 part of the song. Okay, and then we have the C form. And of course we have, for the C7, we have the C7 triad. Alright, so, and after the C form, the next thing would be what we had done here, one octave higher. All right, so that wraps that up for that part. Okay, I'd like to say goodbye to you for now. Hope you've been able to learn something from this. And if you'll pay attention to studying your pentatonic scales and your 7th chord and major and minor chord triads, you'll be in good shape. If you need some help with that, write to me, Craig Tarwater, care of Video School of Guitar, at the address on your tape box, and I'll give you a hand with your major and minor triads. Okay, so at the end of this, you can play along with me. I'm just going to play for a little bit, and then I'm going to go away, and you can play clear to the end of the tape with this song. Okay? So thank you, and bye for now.
3, 1,
2, 3.